master plan of the left to bring in 5 million of these people in Europe, hundreds of thousands here, not vet them, get them in as sleeper cells. Because from my study, they don't totally control the Islamists. They have some control through rogue groups in MI6, the Israelis, and the CIA.
Well, I think that they're evil, of course, but at the more naive ones might think that they're going to just ride the tiger of Islam and then in the wreckage of Europe establish communism.
Sure, they're just taking money from Saudi Arabia now because they can live in a bigger apartment or drive a Ferrari.
But the better example, the better paradigm is Carlos the Jackal, who actually wrote a biography from his prison in France, where he is converted to Islam. You know, he was a communist Bader Meinhof type guy in the 60s and 70s. He converted to Islam, and he actually wrote a letter to President Obama, which was published, which is pretty amazing, saying that only alliance between the left and Islam will ever be powerful enough to destroy capitalism in the West.
Sure, let's be clear. The left hates their smartphones, their money, their great medicine, everything so much, and they love wearing Che Guevara shirts so much that they would ally with something that literally keeps women as animals, all because they have some weird hate of the West and some mental illness that was implanted in them. Where the hell does this come from?
But when it gets to nut cutting time, when it gets to head chopping time, history shows conclusively that these guys, like Carlos the Jackal, they take the easy way and convert to Islam. Because remember, if you're a totalitarian bastard and you're a man, Islam's not a bad deal. You get to beat your old lady, you get to rape children, marry your cousin's daughter who's 13 years old and beat her if she doesn't put out. I mean, so for an evil man, Islam is a pretty easy conversion from being an evil communist. Now, the commie women, they're the ones that are going to wake up in a burqa wondering what the heck happened to them. These German women that aren't making babies will be making babies whether they like it or not if, when Islam succeeds with their, 5 babies per woman birth rate compared to 1.1, which isn't replacement.
How did the West teach suicide to its people? It's just crazy to watch.
Yeah, you have to go back to Antonio Gramsci and the Frankfurt Group and the who are the guys in England? Anyway, the communists of the early 20th century.
The Fabian socialists, all of them.
Fabians. It's going to be the long march through the institutions. That was the way that worked.
No, they said it. And they've conquered us, and now they just want to. The weird thing is, you think they took over, they run everything. Why would they want to then blow it up?
Well, they thought that they could establish communism, but as communism has been defeated and pushed back, the only thing that they've got left is this alliance with Islam. And this is a word of warning to women. The men who preach communism and pivot to Islam aren't going to see a big decrease in their lifestyle. They may have 2 or 3 women after that. The women who think that they're going to stick with communism are the real fools in this, because they're going to wind up in a harem wearing a burqa having 5 babies, like it or not.
I know, it's so crazy. And they'll only be allowed out if you're a piranha that worships it and helps keep the other women in line. You'll be kind of the house slave. We're going to break, come back, take a few final calls, and then 5 minutes the next hour, a few calls, and hand the baton to Paul Watson. And I said earlier, I will get into the big, white man's guilt secret. They're spinning this whole thing like, oh, minorities, it's your time to take over America, and you've got to be communist now or socialist. That's how you're rebellious. It's your country. Don't you want free market, right to self-defense, family? The globalists hate you. Adopt free market. Be wealthy. Be successful. Don't buy into the globalist paradigm. It's so